So we got another, what could be potentially the last of the BWVS series, the Beast Wars again, repros, taking these old molds from our Kingdom and Legacy line and giving them some brand new paint to be extremely show accurate. We've had a bunch of these, and this potentially might be the last one, at least for now, of the Season 1 cast of Beast Wars until they start making more Season 2 and Transmetals and Fusor stuff. And we're going to talk about it here today, what's different about them, the BWVS-07 Loyalty Duel, Airazor versus Inferno. And this one is, man, this one's fantastic. There's a lot of paint going on. When we've got that first Airazor figure in Kingdom, we knew that a repaint would have to come because while it was a great sculpt, it just didn't have the paint deco that matched how she looked in the animation from Beast Wars, the show. So we're going to jump into it, what's different about it. The photos that we have here today come courtesy of the retailer pre-order images. So bear with us. They are going to be kind of blurry, kind of small. We're going to try to clean them up and blow them up and give us the best indication of what we're getting. There will be better images when those pre-orders drop on September 7th on the Thursday in Japan. So it'll be a Wednesday for us here in America. But let's check it out, yo. A lot of great stuff going on here. Just with the primary pre-order image thus far, not much is really mentioned in terms of the text. There is one little bonus mention here, but I'll save that for when I talk about the Inferno thus far. But it talks about the BS-07 Loyalty Duel, the pre-order date, the confrontation set of popular characters from this TV series, yada, yada, yada. Let's get into it. We're going to start, of course, first with the historical aspect of it, where Airazor, her original 2-pack back in 1997, she didn't come with Inferno. She came with a character that we call Insecticon here in America, but Kawagiger in Japan, which is a play on the word Kawagata, which is a stag beetle in Japan. And it's pretty much our basic Insecticon figure that we got here in America. So she came with that 2-pack, but of course we didn't get Insecticon as a mold thus far anyhow. Hopefully one day in our Kingdom or Legacy Evolution, so they didn't pair them together. And of course Inferno in Japan in 97, he originally came in a 2-pack with Cyber Shark, which would have been awesome to get. A brand new Cyber Shark figure updated. Hopefully one day. I love that character a lot. That was the Hell Showdown 2-pack. I even love the name of it. It was funny because the Airazor one was called the Heaven Showdown, and the Inferno one was called the Hell Showdown. So Heaven and Hell. I love Japan. Japan is crazy like that. So anyways, this 2-pack again is called the Loyalty Duel 2-pack. A lot of really great stuff here. And the Airazor one, we're going to start with that with first of the alt mode. And we see right away that with that alt mode, man, there's a lot of paint that's being put on this. And Airazor, while again a fantastic mold itself, was lacking a lot in the paint department. When you look here at the alt mode, you're already seeing the basis of what's going to be the robot mode later on. And you're already seeing stuff like the brown that is matching more of her animation model as opposed to that more lighter gray to brown that they used. The amount of paint that was used on the face sculpt of the Falcon is insane. The little tip of the beak and the way that it has the crest around her eyes and her face and the undercarriage that's a little more of a lighter color. It's incredible what they did. And it's one of those things I almost feel is lost on us because we're going to probably have this displayed in robot mode. But man, oh man, the alt mode, they're really going all out. And the best, even the feet of the bird itself, painting in the feet properly, giving it the little nail tips and the claws and painting those in, which again, it's a reality of our Western market and how the deluxe class price point only has so much of a budget to work with in terms of paint and sculpt, where these ones here, they could really go all out for a collector market. It's fantastic. It looks really good. Even the tips of the wings have a little bit of white on them. Again, fantastic. I love what they did here. But let's get into that robot mode. When we get into that robot mode, that's when the paint really ramps up. And we have stuff like just the little fine details that really create a final flush robot mode. The head sculpt, tons of paint on it. Now it's really accurate to the animation model. Really looks good. Has the proper shade of brown to black that's used on it. When we look at the upper torso, the shoulder area, the one thing that was a big, I guess, sticking point was the molded in orange plastic that was used with the Kingdom version that kind of broke up the upper torso that didn't match with the animation model. Now it's been colored in brown, so it's all one flush area. It looks really good. The orange of the lower torso could stay orange because how the original torso was in the show, it matched it good. Now that falcon head with the nice sculpted and painted detail looks nice for the chest now and really matches. When we go down to the lower area, for the legs and stuff, it's like, hey, it used to be gray, now it's more of a brown to black, so that's perfect. It's matching it all very nicely. Again, a nice extra touch is the use of gold plastic on the forearms and the biceps that were, again, originally just a gray plastic. So now it's completely flush to match the animation model. The forearms themselves with the black-brown, all those fine details, even going into the weapons themselves, everything matches really nice. And she looks absolutely fantastic. Really excited about this release. This is one that we were waiting for, because when we saw that original one, we're like, oh man, we got to wait on that. So it looks great. I'm very excited about how she turned out. It's fantastic. I love it so much. And then when we get to Inferno, I thought when I first saw the Inferno from the naked eye, I was like, how much could they really improve, per se, this Inferno, compared to what we already got in the Legacy line, which was pretty fantastic to begin with. Well, they figured out a way. So it's all about in the little fine details. So we're going to start at first with the ant mode. When you look at the ant mode, you're like, okay, there's not much really too different there, but it's in the fine details. Number one, the eye of the ant itself, the eyes, is the correct shade of light blue that matches the animation model. There's a huge tempo difference. So they actually put the details of his ant butt. It has all the fine details of the ant, but that little stripe pattern there, which was completely absent from our Legacy version. So there's all that painted detail there. The shade of red matches more of the animation model. If I have one complaint, it's probably maybe I find that the mandibles itself are probably more accurate on the Legacy version than it is on this one here, but it could be just the lighting right now. But I mean, it's also something, worst case, if you own both versions, just you could figure out a way to probably swap them. But the mandibles, I find, match more the shade of a lighter kind of blue on the Legacy one than the one that we got here. But the ant legs are correct. They're more the lighter brown to the black. Everything looks great. But when we get into that robot mode, there's a lot of stuff here going on that's, again, in the fine details, but even a bonus accessory because they want you to have the most screen accurate figure. So when you look at the robot mode itself, it looks like it's the same, but when you look at the small spots, so on his legs, literally there's a small part on his hip that has a little bit of blue painted plastic. That blue painted plastic there, which was absent on our Legacy version in the West, matches that of the animation model. Just that little extra touch of blue paint there. Same thing when we look at the lower part of his legs. There's a little bit of paint added. There was a sculpted area on our version here in the West, but it wasn't painted in. They added that extra paint there. That's a little kind of shaded and everything, again, to match what was in the animation model itself. The big thing here is especially his weapons, because they say here in the description, Inferno comes with a bonus weapon with different paint, so you could possess both the flight mode and weapon mode in robot mode. So he has one gun, because the original one that we got, it only came with one gun, and that one gun could be used as his gun in his hand, or you could plug it in his butt to get his flight mode. So here you have two guns, and one gun is painted to look how it looked in the show, and it has way more paint than our version. Our version had a lot of translucent paint and molded in plastic that was dark, and this one here, they painted it up like crazy. They gave it some gray areas to match the fine details of how it looked in the show. And then he has a second gun, which was painted completely differently that you could keep plugged in his back, that then matches that of his little spinning, I guess, jet propulsion gun in his butt. And they gave, some blue details and some teals and stuff like that to make that match. So there's a lot going on here. Obviously, the images we have are a little limited right now. They're a little blurry, but I'm pretty sure there's more details that I'm missing that we haven't seen because of the angles here. But he looks really, really good too. So between the two of them, I am quite surprised how well this turned out. and it looks fantastic. Now, again, reminder, this will be pre-ordering September 7th, Japan time on Thursday, so it'll probably be Wednesday for us. We'll probably get better images leading up to that, maybe 2 or 3 days before that. Aside from that, I think this looks really good. We don't have a pre-order price just yet, but it's a basic and a Voyager, so if you look at some of the past ones and what their prices were for basic and Voyagers, it's probably going to be in that similar price frame. Maybe because it has an extra accessory, it might be an inch little more, but it might also be the same price completely because Japan is awesome like that. We will see what happens. Looks really great. I'm very excited about this. Hopefully they'll continue this in the future when we start getting more sculpts of more of the other Season 2 and Season 3 show characters when those are created. But fantastic stuff thus far. And again, like I said, now if you pick up this Inferno, there's a strong chance you could just take your original one, put that scavenger head on that we got from our antagony that we just talked about a few days ago, and then you could do a Transmetal Scavenger Inferno with your old one, and then you could do a perfect show-accurate Inferno with this one. Let me know what you think, people. Fantastic stuff. Who should be the next 2-pack? Who should be the next? There's the obvious, like Primal Megatron or something, but who should be the next 2-pack using brand new tooling if we ever get it in the future of those characters? What would be your fantasy 2-pack coming in the future? But these are great. Let me know what you think, people, and we'll talk again really soon here on the Transformers Slag podcast.